Hey guys, welcome to another video review of a video game here on my channel. I'm Zenith Darksky. Today we're going to be reviewing BioMutant. No huge disclaimers to get into it for this game. I was pretty excited for it. The only thing I have to say leading up to this review is that I did play and beat this game before there were any updates to fix some of my complaints. So take into account some of my gripes have reportedly been fixed. Either way, I'll try to take that into account as I review the game as well. My review will probably be different than most people's though, so let's just get right into it. Gameplay, I give it a 3 out of 5. Understand, a 3 out of 5 isn't bad. A 2 out of 5 isn't. A 1 out of 5 is where you really want to, if I said it was 1 out of 5, you might want to watch out. You might be like, oh, maybe there's some issues with this game or whatever. But no, it's a 3 out of 5. It's an average gameplay kind of game. I had a pretty smooth time in terms of gameplay in this game. I didn't run into any major glitches, but there were some glitchy moments for sure. Combat is fun, although before a recent update, a big complaint was if you were on mouse and keyboard, the combat didn't feel and didn't sound impactful. You couldn't hear the sound effects as they were just really quiet. But playing with a controller and after they updated the sound effects, this could easily be fixed. Controller with vibrations turned on fixes it for me because I could feel the impacts then and it felt a lot better, a lot smoother. Occasionally you can run into some frustrating fights, or it can feel repetitive at times with certain missions or certain fights and combos and stuff. Enemies get to where they can take more damage. You start using the same combos over and over, and that can get a little repetitive, and I know some people wouldn't like that. Overall, most mechanics feel pretty fluid and feel good. Just occasional glitches in the combat not feeling impactful could get pretty iffy. Also, boss fights weren't super fun to play against. You spend a lot of time playing the game with this combat system, then you're just given vehicles or things of that nature that are used to fight the main bosses in the game. You would think that it would promote this combat and you would go to the bosses and fight them with that combat system, but you're not. You get given vehicles or this or that, or you shoot the enemy, the bosses for the most part. It's a little odd, but I think it was still fairly smooth and fun. The graphics and style, I give it a 5. I give it a perfect 5. If I could give this game a better score than 5 in this category, I would. It's beautiful, it's optimized. I played this game on max settings and rarely ever dipped below 60 FPS. Most of the time I ran at 80 to 100 frames and it was still very, very beautiful. I love the animation style. I know some people didn't like some of the dialogue and names of the objects and places and such, because there is a level of immaturity to the naming. But I think if you get past your own maturity and your own ego and stuff and think things named childishly are negative, then you'll enjoy it. Because it made sense and it immersed me more, realizing that, oh, this weapon is called the wobble blade because it's a long sword, so it wobbles a little bit, I don't know. Just made sense to me because it's anthropomorphic animals naming stuff. I don't imagine anthropomorphic animals are going to name things like a genius would, or like a human would. It made sense and felt right. Overall, the immersion and beauty of this game is unreal, and I love that area of it. The story is a 3 out of 5 to me. The game is fairly straightforward and black and white with its story. While I enjoyed it, I do think that's a negative in a game with a karmic system, is keeping the game very black and white and straightforward. But overall, the story is very evidently inspired by westerns and kung fu type of stories, and I think that was very pretty. It was very beautiful, and it was very impactful at certain parts. I got a little teary-eyed. I almost cried on some certain story moments if you allow yourself to be immersed. So it wasn't horrible or bad by any means, just pretty straightforward and black and white. And I think that's a negative for an open world game and a negative for a game with a karma system. Content, I gave that a perfect 5. Not much to say here. It's an open world game with a bigger size map than a lot of AAA games, a lot of side quests, a lot of collectibles, a decent sized story, and it's just a big game with a lot of stuff to do if you like the extra content. Though I will say, if you were go into this game and only play the story, 1, why are you playing an open world adventure game? But 2, it's still like 10 to 20 hours of gameplay, of story content, depending on how fast you deal with everything in story content. I would say 10 hours on the short side for sure, and the tutorial does take up about an hour of that time. but plenty of content with replayability factors like New Game Plus and classes and stuff, so you could always go back in as another class or whatever. And you know, that does beef it back up for sure. So I give the content a perfect 5. The fun, I give it a 3 out of 5 because I think the game was very, very fun. Having said that, there were frustrating moments, a lot longer than necessary tutorial, bugs and audio issues. But having said that, bugs and audio issues and the like don't bring down the fun too much to me, but they can't be completely ignored either, so that brings down the fun factor for me for sure. Still very fun for people that can get past the naming system of certain things. Still very fun for people that can get past the occasional little charming open world game glitch, like, oh, you know, I ran up the side of this mountain and slid down. Overall, I still say it's a pretty fun game, a very fun game. I had a blast playing it, but there are a few frustrating things that can get in the way, so I brought it down. Overall, I can give this game a pretty solid 3.8 out of 5. I'd even be willing to round that up to a 4 if you wanted. I think the game is a fun break from a world of insane politics and competitive multiplayer games that really rule the market. And I would still suggest playing the game if you're a fan of anything like Breath of the Wild or Skyrim. It's good stuff, published by THQ Nordic, so I don't expect anything less. I'm a little biased towards THQ Nordic. I like a lot of their games. It's a fun game. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are giving it a lot of people are giving it a lot of crap, you know? But I think it was a very, very fun game. Overall, 3.8 out of 5. I suggest you play it. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Do you think the game was, you know, deserving of a lower score? Do you think it was deserving of some of the criticism? Or, you know, tell me if you think people are being too harsh on the game down below in the comments. Hit that like button if you did like the game, or you did like the review here. Share it around so your friends can see my review as well, and sub, because 90% of you guys are not subbed. So, you know, I hate to see that. Yeah, but if you want more game reviews and content like that, because I have it coming on the way. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Zenith Darksky. Keep gaming.